I ain't do
You guys shot these videos. What did you think? Let me ask you first, Jessica. What did you think when this started happening on your flight?
I was absolutely like filled with anxiety. It just was just chaos out of nowhere. It was just like, what is happening?
So what did spark this?
So the man in the hat who was screaming, I didn't do anything, right? He actually was told by a gate attendant to remove himself from the plane. He was a little reluctant at first, yeah, but he got off. But then he came back. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere. He starts yelling, he starts antagonizing everyone, like literally picking people, you guys, Spirit, this was a Spirit flight. And the gate attendant came chasing him. The gate attendant chased him. These are the parts that I did not record, right? Because I'm like, we're literally baffled. Like, what is happening? Why are we still here 20 minutes past our, takeoff, right? And the gate attendant chases him down the aisle. He's seating way back in the back of the plane. The gate attendant's like, no, go, get out, get out. He's like, no, I'm not going anywhere. And then he's calling her names. He's getting in her face, like putting his fingers and calling her names. And then people need to intervene. They're like, get off. He's leaving. He's starting to put his middle fingers up, cursing people out. And then everyone's like super happy, right? And then there's other passengers. The passenger right in front of me calls him a name. He's like, yeah, you get off the plane. Like, we're happy. He's getting off for real. And then he gets in his face. He's like, what you call me? What you say to me? He's exercising, his big old, power little stunt or whatever he's trying to do. But he's like, what you say to me? What you say to me? He's just antagonizing him, right? He's right in front of me. And then this man, the man that you see in the white shirt, a row ahead of the fight, he goes crazy. He's like literally holding all of the anger that everyone on the passenger on the flight is feeling. He is upset. He literally lunges at him. He's like, get off the plane. Get your B-I-T-C-H-A off the plane. Like, he is like upset. And then he's like about to throw punches, as you can see. He's like, what? I didn't do anything. I'm so innocent. What are you talking about? It's just absolutely confused, right? And then all the flight attendants intervene. He finally leaves.
So how long did this delay the flight?
Probably like 30, 45 minutes for that.
Good grief.
And I immediately recorded this because this needs to be documented. Like, hey, Spirit, like, this is what's happening on your flight. Like, this is what's affecting all of this, hundreds and hundreds of passengers trying to get home. And I immediately posted it. Spirit immediately responded.
So you posted it while you were on the plane?
I posted it right before takeoff, Dr. Phil.
And
I was in plane, no games. This gotta go. Y'all gotta see this.
Yeah, you should have posted what you just now said, all of this. I thought that was more interesting than watching the fight. So how long did it take before the airline got in touch with you?
Immediately. Spirit was like, what
While
is
you were
this?
still on the plane?
While I was still on the plane.
Really?
Yep. Spirit is fast, but not fast enough, I guess. Spirit is fast. And it was like, what is going on? DM us immediately. We would like to know what's happening and figure it out. After takeoff, I was like, send, tweet, DM, and I'm like, I'll respond when we land.
Man.
Whole conversation.
What a world we live in. This happens
Crazy.
before you ever even take off.
Right.
All right, so Riley, you taped, and
I did.
this started because this man, we'll look at the video again, with white hair refused to wear a face mask, right?
Correct. He was only wearing a shield.
Okay, and we're looking at the video, it's the guy with the white hair. The man you were sitting next to wouldn't stop cursing at the man with the white hair, right?
Yeah, so when I sat down, I was the last person on the plane. When I sat down, the old gentleman was talking to a flight attendant, and the flight attendant was telling him, like, sir, I've told you this before, I told you this yesterday, so he was on the same flight the day before with the same flight attendants. He said, I don't have to wear a mask, I only have to wear a shield. Like, he was showing them all of these websites trying to, negate them. And she was like, I don't want to hear it. Like, this is the second day in a row that we've gone over this. You must wear a face mask. This is not up to me. Take it up with our airline. And so the man next to me was He really wanted to get home, as we all did. So he just kept like antagonizing, put your mask on, you know, yelling all these obscenities to him. And you just could feel that it was about to become physical. And so me and the girl next to me, we were just like, we got to get out of here.
So you
yeah, I
went
was
down the
protecting
aisle?
my hair. So yeah.
Because you said there were chunks of hair everywhere.
Yes, there was. Yes.
I want my butt off this entire flight to be called a drama queen. We're going back to the gate. But the fact that we get insulted and mistreated by passengers over things that we cannot control, it is disgusting. Shame on the passengers who have made this flight a living hell.
You were proud that this flight attendant stood up for himself and his crew, right?
Absolutely. I work customer service. I work DMV. I have worked during the pandemic. My wife's a nurse. So it was great to see someone stand up for their crew and stand up for themselves in customer service.
Yeah. So you work for the DMV?
Yes, sir. 11 years now.
Yeah. So you get a fair amount of abuse.
You have no idea. We get cussed out so much. It's like an everyday occurrence, honestly.
In June of 2021, I saw a mother and daughter get thrown off of the flight that I was on.
We have little kids, we can't have nobody yelling.
Their behavior was extremely entitled. I dubbed them Karen and Karen 2.0.
You started yelling, we can't have nobody yelling.
The mother and daughter were the last to board our flight in what was a full flight. The daughter said to the flight attendant, "This isn't gonna work. My mom needs an aisle seat." She said to the flight attendant, "You need to make an announcement and ask somebody to move because my mom needs an aisle seat." The flight attendant then said, "I can't do that." And the daughter said, "Then I'll do it." And proceeded to scream into the plane of passengers, "Excuse me, passengers." And that's when I started recording. It escalated, and she said,
"We'll just go sit down and she can just cry and scream on the plane." She's gonna grab on you and scream and cry.
the next flight attendant came down the aisle and said,
"Okay, ma'am, if you're gonna say things like that, I'm gonna put you on a
it literally took an hour for these people to get off of the plane.
I'm so glad you recorded that.
Me too.
What made you decide to record it?
They were just acting crazy. It wasn't going to stop. The daughter was so riled up and insistent that she was going to get an aisle seat.
It seems like then she was trying to kind of laugh it off, like, well, okay, she'll just cry and grab onto all of you. Was she embarrassed at that point?
I think so. I think she was, because she wasn't getting her way. The flight attendant was very clear that she wasn't going to get the seat that she wanted because they had already made 2 announcements for a mother and a little kid to sit together, and so people have already moved twice. And so the flight attendant had told her, we can't make another announcement for a plane full of adults to move for another adult. And so that's when the daughter said, well, then I'll make the announcement. And so she yelled into the plane full of people saying, excuse me, passengers. And then the flight attendant came down and said, you can't be yelling into the plane full of people. And what triggered the flight attendant to prompt the removal was when she said, then she'll cry and scream and yell and grab onto people. And she said, if you're going to cry and scream and grab and yell and grab onto people, then we're going to have to get you off of this flight.
Yeah. Okay. Now, you fly a fair amount, right?
Yes.
There was one person that just took their shoes off and just put their feet up on the wall as a footrest.
Yes.
And then you've got this, you posted one, the man spreader
Yes.
that thinks he apparently purchased half of your seat as well, right? Those are your knees pushed together, and he's just spread out.
Yeah.
Did you say anything to him?
I did when he went like this and hit me in the face. I said, excuse me, and he said, yes, excuse you. So I wasn't about to say anything else after that.
Paris is a current flight attendant who says she has some basic tips that go a long way to winning over the hearts of flight attendants on board a plane. So, Paris, thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
You say number one, closing those bins.
It's really an arm workout, so if you guys see a bin that's full above your seat, absolutely, if you go ahead and close it, that helps us out so much. Lets us know how much space we have in the rest of the cabin, and bonus points if you keep the bins closed that are already closed.
And then two, you say the boarding blues. What do you mean by that?
If you get to your row, you step in, stow your stuff. That'll just make people go through the aisle quicker, and even more bonus points if you put your bag in the overhead bin the correct way, right? Don't put it in sideways, put it in, and then boarding is done, and we can get going wherever we gotta go.
Yeah, that helps everybody, right?
Yeah.
And three, you say, don't ask why, just comply.
Absolutely. So almost 100% of what we ask everyone on the plane to do is safety related. So even if you don't know why, just comply, and it makes everything so much easier.
You say number four, forgetting your manners.
We all learned at such a young age, please and thank you. And we love when you guys come on. You are so kind to us. Kindness goes such a long way. You know, sometimes this can kind of feel like a thankless job, and just to be seen, to be appreciated, it just makes our day.
And then safety instructions. What do you mean by that?
So, like I said, again, everything that we do is 100% safety related. So if we're asking you to do things, we do need your attention. We do need you to comply with our safety instructions, and that just will make everything smoother. We're safety professionals before anything else.
Passengers, for those of you that get upset, you know, I wrote a book some time ago called Life Code, and part of it was the Sweet 16, and it was new rules for winning in the real world. And number 16 talked about confrontation. And number 16 said, you must pick your battles and never let your opponent have control. So when I say that you want to control the place and time, you got to pick your battles. And the place to fight a battle is not with somebody that has the authority. You're going to wind up watching the airplane taxi away. So be smart. I mean, these people that are doing all of this and picking fights on planes, you're slowing everybody else down, and you the most. You're picking a fight you can't win.
It was just chaos out of nowhere. This anti-masker was told to remove himself from the plane.
Restraints.
Help!
Fist fights.
I can't believe I just watched a flight attendant get 2 teeth knocked out.
Flightmares. New Dr. Phil. Check your local listings.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.